81, so any of the locations out there, kind of in between the hometown, so to speak. But again, that little area right there, that's where easily we could have some 60 mile per hour winds. So again, if you're out there in Canadian County, heads up on that. So let's go back here into Oklahoma County now. And again, we still continue with 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, one for Canadian County and again, one for Oklahoma County. And as we go back to our downtown Oklahoma City live cam here, just to kind of give you a view of what's actually going on, we're looking at the radar and we kind of verify it with the live video showing you exactly what's going on. Again, you can see that locally heavy rain in progress. Now, the one thing I can tell you here, and this is one of the nice things about this downtown OKC cam, is when we get storms rolling through, I use this a lot to see if there's any kind of sideways blowing rain, or just to kind of at least guesstimate the wind speeds and the wind gusts. And we've done that now several times with this cam, but it looks like right now, at least, and even compared to earlier, about 2 hours ago, this is a steady, moderately heavy rain that we're seeing. It's not a blinding rain, but it's a moderately heavy rain. And the only bad thing about it is, at least right now, from downtown Oklahoma City down through I-240, again, even back over through the Tinker Diagonal, there's still that flash flood warning in effect from the rain we saw earlier. And again, as this rain continues to move on in, again, it's only going to continue to kind of aggravate that situation. So again, just like we were mentioning a few minutes ago, turn around, don't drown. You don't want to drive through, standing water. If nothing else, you don't want to get your car in it and, short out the electrics and then your car is completely tapped out. So just an all-around bad situation there. Let's go back to radar. And again, if you're just now joining us here on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV, we've just got the 2 warnings in effect, Oklahoma County and Canadian County. We've got some locally heavy rain in other parts of the state that we'll talk about here in just a second. Not a major severe weather deal going on this evening, especially by Oklahoma standards. There's no severe thunderstorm watches in effect at all. But again, we have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, and we do have a flash flood warning, which is a little bit more of a big deal, and that does include downtown Oklahoma City all the way down through the Valley Brook area, I-240, the Tinker Diagonal. Again, flash flood warning there, but again, not a major severe weather deal going on across Oklahoma, but there is some locally heavy rain, there is some vivid lightning, and there's a little bit of hail mixing in from time to time, and there's definitely a localized flooding threat developing across parts of the state, and especially right over portions of Oklahoma County. So let's go and kind of back this out a little bit. Let's go and talk about the southern sides of the OKC Metro as well, because basically from Moore all the way down through Norman, then I'm telling you, especially the eastern sides and southern sides of Norman, that activity has not moved at all. This activity right here, it's essentially stalled, and that's what happened earlier over downtown Oklahoma City when we had that activity stall out and we had the flash flood warning issued. Similar, it's happening now on the eastern sides of Norman and the southern sides of Norman. That's Highway 9 right there. OU would be basically right in there. Our studios downtown, in downtown Norman, we're basically located right about there. So again, this activity slowly but surely is going to continue sinking to the south, especially as that severe storm to the north continues to push that to the south. But at least right now, what we're seeing there on the eastern sides of Norman, there's not much movement at all. It's basically essentially stalled out there. Locally heavy rain, again, a localized flooding threat even there on the eastern sides of Norman. Let's go to our North Norman cam. Let's go and take a look at that as well. We've looked at our downtown OKC cam. Let's go to our North Norman cam. And this is basically at Flood Street and I-35. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to spin this around just a little bit here. And as I do that, just to kind of at least get a better perspective of what's going on. But at least right now, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of traffic on that cam. In fact, we're going to check that here just real quick as we go back to radar. We're going to check that cam right there. We might have had a little bit of an intermittent power outage on it there, and we'll see if we can't get that back up. So it looks like it was hung for just a second, but there we go. So as we go back to the North Norman cam, again, you still see that rain there in progress. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to spin it around just real quickly here. And I'm going to spin it back over here towards the Flood Street. So this is basically Flood Street and I-35 in Norman. And again, you can see not a lot of traffic. Flood Street, generally, it's fairly busy, especially this time of the evening. There's the York plant right there. Again, you see the rain in progress. And again, this would be I-35 right back up in here. But again, locally heavy rain there. Again, you're even seeing it there on our North Norman cam there as well. So, the bottom line, and we said this a little bit earlier as well, again, if you don't have to be out and about, especially from downtown Oklahoma City all the way down through the Norman area and also out towards the El Reno area as well, just stay home and ride these out. There's no reason to get out there. And I know there's a lot of people that have to run those evening errands. We completely understand that. But if it's not an emergency, if you don't have to be out there, again, really the best thing to do it's really just to stay off the roads, because there is such a high volume of water that we're seeing out there that, again, if you're staying off the roads, you're basically keeping you and your family safe. You don't have to worry about, a different driver out there that doesn't know how to drive in the rain, or, heaven forbid, you getting into some kind of a flooded roadway situation or something like that. So again, overall, the best advice this evening, at least, just ride these storms out as they come on through. Again, this isn't a major severe weather deal, especially by Oklahoma standards, but there is some intermittent severe weather. And I really think as we head a little bit deeper into the evening now, I think the primary threat, it is that locally heavy rain. It is that ponding on the roadways, and it is, again, some of these stalled out cars, and again, some of the unfortunate accidents now that we're getting reports of here in the forecast center as well, again, with just people being out and about, and the roadways are flooding in parts of the metro. So not a good situation there at all. Let's go back into Canadian County here, and I just want to go and take another look at this. So we've been talking about, again, the locally heavy rain. That's the way it looks right now, the primary threat there in Oklahoma County. Now this storm out here in Canadian County, this is still severe warned, and this is primarily for wind. Now this has eased down some. This has eased down some here, at least over the last 10 minutes or so, but right in this area, right here, that's where there's still, looks like there's an opportunity for some 50, 55, maybe 60 mile per hour winds. That's now pushed through the Highway 81 corridor. In general, if it does hold its intensity, it's going to be tracking towards a Yukon and Mustang, but it looks like there's a bit of a weakening trend as far as the damaging wind threat goes, even with that activity there as well. Let's go back to reflectivity here. And again, outside of that, I still want to talk about the locally heavy rain threat, even out here in Canadian County as well. So we're talking about El Reno, we're talking about Union City, again, Highway 81 here, and this is basically just really a wave of locally heavy rain that's moving through. And again, just, some of the things we've been talking about in Oklahoma City and down here in Norman, again, with the ponding on the roadways, the localized street flooding, things like that. That's also the case out here in Canadian County as well. Again, this is, what we call a high precipitation event. There's a lot of heavy rain falling here in a fairly short amount of time. The activity is not moving very fast, and in general, that's just kind of the recipe to get some of this localized street flooding to develop. What I want to do, I want to actually switch over one of our other radars here real quick, and I want to go ahead, I'm going to do this, just kind of bear with me here while I'm talking to you folks as well. We're going to switch one of our radars over here. I'm going to put on at least radar estimated rainfall rates. And we're going to take a look at that again here in central Oklahoma, but also in other parts of the state as well. Because again, we are really getting, not widespread, not every backyard, but we are getting definitely some fairly localized amounts of fairly heavy rain. So just bear with me here while I'm talking here. I'm actually working this other radar. And let me go and pull this up here, and we're going to take a look at this one as well. I'm just zooming it in right now. And I want to take a look here in Oklahoma County. I'm going to take off the warnings here, and then we're going to take a look at this. And these are radar estimated rainfall rates. And I'm going to zoom this in just a little bit tighter there. And in western Oklahoma as well, and there's a little hot spot out there in western Oklahoma we're going to look at too. Even though there's not officially a flash flood warning out there, there's been some fairly high rainfall rates out there as well. So let me go and switch this over here. And there we go. So we're going to go ahead and take this radar source here. And like I said, bear with me while we're just getting this punched up here as well. And you probably hear the mouse going there in the background. So here we go. Let's go and take a look at this. And what this is here, these are radar estimated rainfall rates. And basically where you're seeing the yellows, there's an opportunity for 2 inches. And where you're seeing the reds, there's an opportunity for 3. So basically what that means, and we're going to look down here in Norman, because I think we've already got some possible 2 inches showing up down here. There could be some localized flooding on the eastern sides of Norman. So where the flash flood warning is, basically right there in downtown Oklahoma City, down I-35, back down towards I-240. So there's 2, the orange 2.5, the red is 3. So there's that pocket. We picked up that quick pocket of 3. That's why the flash flood warning is in effect there. And so let me go and do this here real quick. Let me go and click this as well. And then what we're going to do, we're going to move this a little bit further out to the west as well. And so check this out here off of I-40, especially out here towards Bridgeport. There's some other areas that have picked up some, fairly substantial rain as we've gone through the late afternoon, the evening. That activity, again, it's been slow moving, again, as we've gone through the evening. And again, what we're seeing here, especially out here near I-40, Hinton, Bridgeport, there's Gary, there's still an opportunity here for 2 to possibly 3 plus, especially right there in I-40. You see that smattering of pink showing up that's easily over 3 inches of rain. And again, that's fallen through the late afternoon, early evening now. So again, you can see there's some locations like Corn, well, you haven't seen anything. Weatherford, not much at all. But there's other locations here that have really picked up some rain. So this is why we call it localized flooding. It's not widespread flooding, but there is a localized flooding going on now across parts of Oklahoma. Let me go down here into Norman real quick as well. Let me go and kind of zoom this out. Out there in western Oklahoma, you see some other locations out there in Custer County, especially out there around the Arapahoe area. Again, you're seeing the reds going to pinks. Again, that's easily, 3+ inches of rain. So even on some of those rural roads out there, there is a bit of a localized flooding threat developing. Down here in Norman, you can also see, like we've been talking about, the activity really not moving much at all. So this has been a quick, and you see it even getting bigger there, this has been a quick 2 to 2+ inches on the eastern sides of Norman. There's I-35 over there, downtown Norman being right there. There's Highway 9. And again, basically what we're looking at here, this is again going over 2 inches of rain. These are radar estimates, but these are normally pretty well spot on. So for the eastern sides of Norman, there's definitely what we would call an urban flooding threat, where again, some of the local roads, some of the flood prone areas, they're going to be starting to flood, and as the heavy rain continues. So not widespread, we're not talking about major flooding, but again, there is localized flooding now, especially there on the eastern sides of Norman and even the southeastern sides of town. So keep that in mind. Okay, so let's go back to regular radar here, and we'll continue to kind of check back in with that product as we go through the evening. And radar estimated rainfall rates there. And I want to give it an overview here. I want to just kind of widen out the view. So the warning over Oklahoma City, that's now expired. Now we continue with the flash flood warning. It's still in effect, but the severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, the Weather Service, they just now allowed that to cancel. So that's no longer in effect. Flash flood warning continues. And then we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect, which just expired there as well for Canadian County. So that might be good news. It looks like right now all the severe thunderstorm warnings in Oklahoma have now been allowed to expire. Now we'll see if that holds. We still have some storms that are fairly strong, but again, I just want to reiterate one more time, I think the primary threat as we go really through the rest of the evening, the folks that are going to see rain, because not everyone's going to see rain, but the folks that are going to see rain, these are going to be slow moving storms that do produce high volumes of water. And again, the flood prone areas, some localized street flooding, I think all that's going to be possible. Even down in southeastern Oklahoma, we're going to take a look at the cell down here southeast of McAllister. This one's come up fairly quickly, and that's also producing some locally heavy rain, but you just kind of see this broken line here. This is going to continue to very slowly sag to the south again as we go through the evening, and again there will be that opportunity for locally heavy rain. So let's go down around the McAllister area here, and we're going to take a look here. I want to take a look at the hail core tracker. So not much in the way of hail showing up down there. So really right now, the bottom line is, and really just like I was saying a second ago, as far as all the hail cores go, not that we've really had that many, but the overall hail threat, it looks like it's starting to ease down. And even though on this storm down here in Pittsburgh County, even though we're seeing the reds and some of the pink showing up there, it's really not producing much in the way of hail. It's actually just producing a lot of just heavy rain. And that's what we're seeing here. And again, that's basically even tracking down there towards the Hartsburg area there as well. Again, Pittsburgh County, most of the heavy rain there south, even back down towards Savannah there, south and just southeast of the McAllister area. So again, you folks even down here in southeastern Oklahoma, and it gets a little more terrainy down in this part of the state, and you folks are definitely a little more prone to some localized flooding down in that part of the state. And if you live down there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So keep that in mind. Again, as these slow-moving, heavy rain-producing thunderstorms move through, parts of southeastern Oklahoma. Same thing in southeastern Oklahoma. Some folks will see rain, and again, some folks won't see any rain at all. Let's go back into a Canadian County here. And this storm is no longer severe, but this was the storm that was producing some straight-line winds. And you can still see where the straight-line winds are, but again, now it looks like they're, again, below severe limits. There could still be a pocket of 50 to 55 right through here where you're seeing the bright greens. But the overall intensity here, it's definitely easing down. There could easily be some 45 to 50 mile per hour winds right now in the Union City area. In general, 45 to 50 mile per hour winds are going to be tracking towards Yukon and Mustang. But again, like I said, there's a definite weakening trend even with that storm. Again, that's no longer severe. And again, the primary threat there as we go back to reflectivity, again, it is just the locally heavy rain. And it looks like even the lightning compared to earlier, is also easing down as well. Again, as we're taking a look at this activity here, if you look at these little white bolts, those are cloud to ground lightning strikes. So not cloud to cloud, but these are cloud to ground lightning strikes. And again, this is sampled just about every 3 minutes or so. And again, even though these storms are still electrically active compared to where they were earlier, the lightning is even starting to ease down. Now keep in mind, there's still vivid lightning around, but I'm just kind of saying the overall trend here, there's a bit of a downward trend with the activity. The one thing that's not really trending down, it's the rainfall rates. These are still producing locally heavy rain, but again, the lightning is easing down. The hail threat that wasn't really major this evening anyways, easing down, and now even some of the damaging wind gust potential easing down as well. So these are just some good old-fashioned, really right now at least, good old-fashioned late summer heavy thunderstorms that are just producing a lot of locally heavy rain. Let's go back to our downtown OKC cam here just real quick, as the activity in downtown OKC is starting to wind down. And in fact, it looks like you can even see clearing now as we're looking off to the northwest. It looks like you could even see some clearing there behind the old Chase building there. So it looks like there's some clearing as, really we had 2 rounds of locally heavy rain and really 2 separate severe thunderstorm warnings and a flash flood warning, all for downtown Oklahoma City over about the last hour and a half. And if you look carefully there, again, behind the Chase building, you can actually see some clearing and a little bit of sunlight there on the back side. Now, as all this activity winds down as we go through the evening and tonight, on the back side of this activity, we still have that fairly potent cool front that's really going to knock our temperatures down, again, as we go through the rest of the week, talking about 80s for highs, even starting tomorrow. So it's not going to feel much like August, again, starting tomorrow, again, with less humidity as well. So let's go back to our radar. And again, I just want to kind of underscore one more time that we currently have no severe weather anywhere in Oklahoma. We do continue with locally heavy rain around the state and kind of this broken line of locally heavy rain. But what we're going to do, folks, we're actually going to take a quick break here. We've been on fairly solid with this activity, but again, now with no severe weather in the state, we're going to take a quick break. We'll have another live update coming up at the bottom of the hour. I think that's in about 9 minutes from right now. So otherwise, keep it here with Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV. We'll keep you up to date with the latest live weather information for Oklahoma.
Meet Chris Hudson, owner of Hudson Technology Solutions. He's no ordinary man. He's got long hair, can climb towers, and connects Western Oklahoma to that thing called the internet wirelessly. Call today and get connected with Hudson Technology Solutions.
Hi, I'm Mark Tay with Home Inspection. I'm located here in Weatherford, Oklahoma. If you're going to be buying a home, you need to give me a call for your home inspection. I will thoroughly inspect your home and give you peace of mind. Call me. I work 6 days a week.
Thanks for watching HOLYCLAPtv. We hope you're enjoying the live stream. Our network offers advertising services to local businesses and provides entertaining programs in a fresh, new way. If you're in need of any of our services, contact us today.
Meet Chris Hudson, owner of Hudson Technology Solutions. He's no ordinary man. He's got long hair, can climb towers, and connects Western Oklahoma to that thing called the internet wirelessly. Call today and get connected with Hudson Technology Solutions.